Hi, in this video we'll see how we can add a custom year view on React calendar. Let's get into it. So we have in the intro you saw that we added a year view. So in this tutorial we'll see how we can do that. If you like this tutorial, please consider subscribing the channel and liking the video. So first of all, we have the calendar right here, and we have some events, and yeah, so basically right now we have the localizer, the default view, which is view, and some events. So right now we have this particular component year view, which is receiving the view props, because when we will use that custom view we will receive all the props. Right now I'm just returning the string year view. So how do we use it? So how do we basically add it to the view list basically? So first of all, we have to supply a views prop, and that views prop we have to specify. For month I will say true, so it would show the default month view, and for day I will say true, for week I would say true, but for year by default there is no year view. That is why I set the type any, because by default there is no year view, but I am adding it, so I would say year view. So this is particular this is this component right here, which I will add all the stuff use on the intro. After that I'm just showing how you can add a custom view, and then you will add a messages prop. Right now I'm not passing anything, so this added a view. So basically this views prop, in this views prop I said month true, day true, week true. So this basically added these three views which are present by default, and it also added the year view. You can see it says year view, but it hasn't displayed the title here in the button. So this through this messages prop we can do this. So we will say year, so this year is basically corresponding to this view, and I will call it year. So now you can see that it says year here. So now we can this is how you can add a custom view. Let me do as any here as well. This is how you can add a custom view, and then name it as well. Now we have this year view component. In order to add a custom view, that particular view component should have three static methods, because these three static methods would be used by the React calendar in the background. So we need to have these. So first is the range function. So the range function would be basically whenever we would go next or back, etc., there would be a particular range which would be covered by this view. So for example, if we are using a year view, obviously a year of range is being considered by that view. If there it's a month view, then a month range, a week, and then day, a day. So we will basically have an array of the range of whatever the year views, and I would see how we can add it. So what we would want is, in the year view we want 12 calendars. So in this range function I would want that it returns an array of 12 months. So basically there is an array and there are 12 items in it, and each item corresponds to 1 month, and it should be a date object. So that is what we would do. So let's get into it. So first of all, I'll say const start is equal to localizer dot start of date year. So basically whatever the date is, I want to go to the start of that date corresponding to the year. So basically if it's so if today is 8/11/2023, I want to go to 1st January 2023. That is what the start of function does. It takes me to the start of the year, and then I want to get the end date as well. So I will do the same thing, end of date and then year, and this would basically give me 30th December 2023, the last portion of the year. It would take me to the end of the year. Now I would basically loop. I would can add an array. So I would say const range is equal to this, then I will say const current is equal to start, then I will basically loop through So I would say localizer dot lte current and year. So basically what I want is I want to push the current value, and then in each loop I would assign the current value with by adding a 1 month to it. So basically what I am doing now is, first of all, and now I want to return this actually. So first of all I get whatever date I would get some date from here, right? From the calendar. So it may be today's date, that is 8/11/2023. What I want is I want to get the start date of the year, which would be 1 January 2023. Then I want to get the end date, that is 30th December or 31st December, whatever it is, of 2023. And then I want to loop through these two dates such that I have an array of 12 months, and I would basically then use that array of 12 dates to map the calendars for the year view. So that is what it is. If you didn't understand it, you can comment down below and I'll try to explain it in a better wording. And then we have the navigate function. So this navigate function is basically called whenever we navigate. So let's say I'm in the day view, I click on next, I go to August 12, I again click on next, I go to August 13. If I go to week, I click on next, I go to the next week, I go to the next week, etc. So basically whenever you call next or back, that is what this particular function is called, this navigate function. So we get the date and we get the action, and this action is either next, previous, or it can be anything else. So let's map this. So I will say switch, I will use a switch case, and here I would look for action. So case navigate dot next, then I want to return localizer dot add date 1 year. So basically whenever I click the next button, I want to add 1 year, because I want to show the next year, right? And here I would say if case is if the action is navigate dot previous, then I want to return, I want to basically subtract 1 year. So I would do that, and then default case I want to return the date. Also there is another special case where if action is instance of date, oftentimes action would be either this next or previous, but sometimes it can be a date as well. So in that case I would return the action. Let's remove this return now. Yeah, so that is added as well. Now the title, we have seen that each view has a title. So this is the month, so I'm going back and forth, and you can see that there is a title for this. Same is the case with day, same is the case with week. I want to show the title for the year view as well. So I can say localizer dot format date and then y. So basically this would only show the year. Let me refresh and go to the year view. Now you can see that it's 2023 by default. Now I click on next, and you can see that the year is changing. So this basically shows us that the title static function is working and the navigate static function is working. Pretty cool. Now what I would want is I want to map the calendars for 12 calendars for each month of the year view. So now here I would say first get the range. So I would say const current range is equal to year view dot range. Basically this is a static function, and that is how you call static function. Date localizer. Yep. Let me console log the cur and this range we are getting, so that you can understand it more clearly. Right now maybe it's not making much sense. Okay, so now you see that this current range of array has 12 items. We have 12 months, and each right now it's 2027, right? Because I've clicked next a bunch of times. So we can see that each particular item corresponds to a date which corresponds to a particular month. So January, February, March, April, and all the way to the end, which is December. So basically we'll map this array, and then using that this array's date, we would show that particular month's calendar, so that that is how the year view should look, obviously. So let me remove this. Now here I would say I want to show this in a grid, all the calendars. So I will use the grid component from Chakra UI, and here I would say template columns is equal to repeat for 1fr. So basically I want 4 columns, 4 equal width columns, and then I want to give these columns a gap of 6 columns and rows. And now here I would map, so I would say current range dot map, and here we will have the month, and here I would return a grid item, and in this grid item I would give it a width of 100%. Let's give it a key as well, index, and then inside it I would use a calendar. So this calendar is from a library, React Calendar. It's a very popular library. You can use any calendar library you want, or you can build your own custom calendar as well if you want, whatever is suitable for your use case. Yeah, so now if I close this, you can see that you have all the yearly calendars. So for the year 2027 you have all the monthly calendars from January 2027 to December 2027. Cool. But that is not all you want. Let me refresh it. This is okay, but you would want some certain functionalities in your calendar as well. You can add as many functionalities as you want, but as part of this tutorial I am adding 2 which I think should be there. So first of all, I would want that if any day has events, then I want to highlight that day. Thus, as today is 11 August, so you can see that it is yellow, which shows that this is the today's date. But if any day in this year has events, I want to highlight that day and give it a greenish color, so that I can know that these are the days which have appointments. So yeah, let's do this. So yeah, so right now let's go here and let's see. So right now I have 3 appointments. One is in 10 October, one is in January. Yeah, one is in October, one is January, and one is June. So this is what it is. So let's add the logic for it, because we are getting the events here as well, so we can do that. So I will say tile class name. So this is basically a way of adding the class name on any tile. Tile is basically this day boxes. So I will add a function here, and this function gives us the date for each tile and the view. So it can be either the month view or something. So I will say if view is equal to month and events dot find event. Now I am using moment because by default the I can use the localizer as well, but I'm more familiar with the moment function. You can use either one of these and here as well. If you are familiar with moment or any other date library, you can use those. You don't have to use the localizer, but I only use the localizer because this localizer was being used in the example for custom view in the React Big Calendar documentation, so I thought why not. So here I would say event dot start dot is same moment date day. then I want to return a class, and this is a class I've already added in the index.css file which is present here. I will show you, and then return null if that is not the case. So right now you can see that there are green boxes here. So a green box here, a green box here, which means that there are events in this particular day. So we can know that, you know, these are the days where maybe I don't want an event. So this is the date which I am getting from here. So this function would be called for each tile, and this is the event dot. Basically I'm saying, if you know, if there is an event for a particular day, then return this class, apply this class to that tile, and this is the class I'm applying a background color of green and a color of white. Cool. So now I want to add another functionality. I would want that whenever I click on any tile, then I should be taken to that particular day in the day view, because obviously why would you want a year view if you cannot, you know, move between views? So we can do that as well, but for that we'll have to apply some state here. So I would say const view set view is equal to use state, and then by default let's say it should be views dot week. And then I would say view is equal to view, and on navigate, yep, on navigate is a function which is called whenever you want to navigate. So now I'm controlling it with state as well. So I would say oh, this is on navigate changes the date. Yeah, on view basically changes the view. So I would say view set view. Oh, okay, whatever. And then here I would say set date. Let me add a similar thing for date as well. So date, set date. Here by default it would be new date, which is today. So yeah, so now we can see that works in a similar fashion. Nothing is changed, but I would basically use the on navigate and on view function in the year view, and I would want that whenever I call these functions, basically the view and date change. So that is why I've now basically I'm now using state for it. So here I would say here I would use the on view and on navigate functions. So there is an on day click prop which gets called on click day, which gets called whenever we click on a day tile or day box. So here I would say I am getting, oh, where did I go? Where am here I would get the day. So I would say on navigate today, and then here I would say on view. On view is an optional prop, so I would say on view views dot day. Cool. So now I refresh it, I go to the year, I can see all the days. I click on, let's say 14 January, I land in 14 January. Cool. Now I go back to the year view, I click on this particular day, that is 10 January, I land in 10 January, and I see the appointment as well, because you know that is why the tile is colored. I go to the year view again, I click on, let's say this 10 June, and I see another event. I click on year, I click on this 10th October, and there's an event here as well. So basically that is how you can add a year view. And I also not just added a year view, but also added some functionality which you would want, that is, you know, basically indicating that a particular day has events, and also the ability to go from one view to another, specifically from year view to day view, because that is a lot easier, instead of, you know, opening a month and then, you know, clicking on a day and going there. this is much more cooler, and you can using these features add any functionality you want. You can add a functionality where you click on a month and you land on a month. Anything is possible. So this was the tutorial for adding a custom year view. A lot of you have requested it on the channel, so I thought I should make it. And if you have any concerns or questions, you can comment down below and I'll answer them. Kindly subscribe to the channel, that helps a lot, and I'll this encourages me to make more videos. And as always, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.